Oh, hello. Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Let's see here. Two chat rules. Please be over the age of 17 and please be kind to one another. Exclamation point and enter. Ooh. And pop out the chat and move it over here so I can see it. And then make that the right size. Put it over there so I can see myself. And now I can see you guys and I can see me. And hello, Corolla. Happy Sunday, my dear. Lovely to see you on this fine, fine day. Oops. Let's see here. Am I right side up or upside down? Because I can't tell. Oops. I'm out of focus, I think. Hello, Barb. Hello, Daryl. I'm not going to cough. Not going to do it. How is everyone? Hello, Robin. And I'm right side up. Okay, good. See, Daryl got it. Daryl Lynn got it. Oh my goodness. Okay. No coughing, Christine. Remain calm. No spasms. Everything's going to be fine. So, how is everybody on this fine Sunday? It is looking better every second of the day. I've been watching the up to the minute news, so needless to say, I'm very pleased that yet another of these frivolous lawsuits has been tossed out the door. So, yay. Anyway, that being neither here nor there. Hi, everyone. I can't believe I'm so discombobulated today. I am. I have decided that we're going to change books. We're going to keep the same medium, but I got a wild hair and I was wanting to indulge it. I was looking up behind me the other day, just sort of gazing up at the things that are attached to my bulletin board, and I completely forgot that I had these, and they are really cool stencils, and I picked them up over at Walmart. They were like on sale for $1.29 for these three. They came in one package. And I've never really used stencils in a background before, and so I wanted to go ahead and see what we could do in doing a colorful background on a picture that would otherwise just be an ordinary picture. Well, as ordinary as anything is in Droom Reis. So how is everybody? Did you all have a good week? And I know that many of us here in America are still dealing with, all of this nonsense that's been going on since November 3rd. And of course, we've got half the nation who feels one way about it and the other half who feels the other way about it. And we're all trying to just maintain peace and quiet and hopefully, get through it until, we've got all the sailing clear. And I'll tell you what, I don't know how countries that are in constant conflict, I don't know how the people Well, they don't. I guess that's why they managed to try and escape. Because I'll tell you what, it's got my nerves. Not that I'm worried about personal safety or anything else, but man, it's just like the vitriol that's out there is just, I just don't get it, you know? I just don't. I don't get it. Over what? Over what? You know? Over what? And yes, let's see what happens if we do. Thank you. Thank you, Carolyn. I'm sorry. It is it is one of my favorite games as well. And but you guys may notice that I'm sort of a little worse today. That I strongly suspect that's just a today thing, because I was actually a little better yesterday. So you know, I have good days. Right now I'm having good days and bad days. So yesterday was a hot shower, really active day. I had to go to the grocery store, and I cooked a little bit, did all of that kind of stuff. And I actually did really well. I opened all the windows in the house, exchanged all the air out, which is good, just in case, you know, what was going on was sort of fetid air. But I've got it closed back up again today, and so I'm thinking that maybe I need to. I think I'm gonna maybe open the windows again tomorrow. I may open them tonight and just be cold. You know, just find a bunch of sweaters and do all of that. But anyway, okay. And yeah, exactly, Kathy. It's like, oh my gosh. All right. So the picture that I wanted to do was this one. Now, this is Maria's book, Droom Reis. Whoops. Did I actually do that? I did, didn't I? I left it on autofocus. Shame on me. Make you guys dizzy with all that throbbing energy. And so I wanted to do this. Now, Maria's book, this one, which is wonderful, is in fact single-sided. And so I don't really have to worry about anything on the other side. I will go ahead and put just a piece of cardstock in here. Actually, I don't want to, I really shouldn't use that one, but I will. Yeah, you know what, I'm not going to. Wait. Let me use this one. This is one of my ugly ones. The other ones I draw on. So there we go. So I thought we would give this a shot and see what happens. And I just am very, very grateful to be here today, and grateful that all of you have joined me. And hopefully, you know, hopefully by the time we meet sometime around the 1st of February, life will just be good all over the place. And I'll get warmed up here in a second, I promise. Oh, in the meantime, somebody say something that I can respond to. Because I'm having a little trouble with my sparkle. My sparkle meter is broken. All right. So what colors? I'm gonna not necessarily make these green, but I do want to leave room to have these be sort of an autumny type color. So I was thinking of making the background something more interesting. But I don't want to choose something garish. I almost want to make, let's see, what I want, I don't know what I want. I want to make it, yes, I do know what I want. Okay. I want to do like a goldish type thing, golds and brown, autumn colors. That's what I want. You know what? I've had it on my wish list, Robin, for a year, 2 years. And so, no, I don't have any. Otherwise, yes, I would definitely try masking fluid. I keep changing it up. I keep putting, like right now, all I've got is the Molotov pen on there just to sort of give it a try. At one point in time, I thought I was really going to get gung-ho into it, so I had both the pen and the refill. But now it's just the one lonely little pen. But yes, I would love to give it a try. But no, I haven't because I don't have any. All right, so the question is, what brush do I use? Do I go ahead and use a water brush? Or since I'm going to use this palette, because the colors that I want to mix are, at least to begin with, are over here. Or should I use this brush? So I think what I want to do is use this brush. And I want to start with sort of a pretty substantial bit of a lighter shade. Because remember that you can always come back and add darkness, but you can't go the other way with Inktense. So you want to make sure that your whatever you have for your background is not so dark that you won't be able to come back from it. So I'm just adding and once again, I'm not worrying that I'm getting a little bit of it in the that leafy part, because I'm going to be able to, that's going to be a darker color anyway. So I mean, I don't want to, how many of you just go, whenever I just start one of these, I just sort of slop it on there. Inktense in pan form. Yes, exactly. This is Inktense in pan form. And you can just do it with regular water. It behaves very much like a watercolor, but remember that it is ink and therefore it cannot be lifted again once it is down there, which is why you always want to start, at least for me, with my lighter shades. Because if I use a lighter shade, and who knows, maybe I will darken it up behind these things. But for right now, And I don't necessarily want this to be everywhere, you know. Like I may not want to put it down here. So that's why I'm working up here at the top just for right now, just trying to decide what, see now that's going to be a hard one right there because that was that edge had really started to dry out. So you want to keep that in mind, which is another one of the reasons why you're sort of working pretty carefully or pretty quickly. You see how I'm able to get it lighter toward the outside? Of course, you see me work in Colin's book, so you know I'm just likely going to slap it on there, right? We'll go back and fix it later. But I love that about Inktense, that you can just, it always makes me feel like I'm doing something, you know, like I'm actually getting something done. Liquid latex, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then you peel it off afterwards. It's very cool. Yeah, I've seen it used. It's just exactly that. It's like almost like rubber cement. I always wondered if you couldn't get the same effect using rubber cement, but the bottom line is that rubber cement just isn't that fluid. You know, you can't actually get it to perform that the way that masking fluid does. But because rubber cement, of course, you know, is available locally. Of course, I could drive down to Jerry's or over to Michael's or someplace like that and pick up masking fluid. But all right, now I want to make this a little bit darker. So I'm going to take the, once again, some more of that yellow ochre and maybe some of this brown, sort of work it in. And maybe do try and blend out those harsh edges a little bit. Not going to worry about that because I could make that a darker color as I'm coming around the bend there. And I've left the camera out there just because I think it's easier to see the sort of the bigger background. Don't be afraid to add water. Yeah, see, that's gonna, that'll blend okay. Add a little bit of water. We'll know a little more when we see what it looks like as it dries, but I'm just doing this, and then I can come in with any other color that I might want around, you know, with the stencils. So this is just a base right here. I was sitting here the other night because you know, I am pretty much of a night owl. And apparently during the day, Susan, my friend Susan Curry, whose book I'm supposed to be finishing and still haven't finished. I just can't find cannot get in touch with my creative mojo on the cover. But I mean, I absolutely positively have to finish it tonight. Because I want it in for Black Friday. But she called me at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah. That's what I mean by night owl. I'm not merely a night owl. I am a night owl. All right, so. Okay. So I just mixed a new batch of that. I don't even know if it's the right same sort of brand of color or not. And you can go directly into the water and come back onto the paper. Now I'm not, just like with my regular water brush, I'm not really scrubbing the paper so much as I am just letting the bristles float across the water. Now, realizing, of course, that this is a sorry, this is an acorn. So technically, it should probably have been left this color, right? These colors. But there's no rule that says you have to do that. You can make it any color that you want. Oh, I like that. Okay, so right there we have I mean, and if you wanted to, you could. I'm going to dry out that brush just a little bit. And just go back and try and unharsh some of those lines. Unharsh. That's a new word, right? Okay, and see also, this is the other good reason why you want to have a piece of cardstock or something in there that is absorbent as opposed to plastic, because when it goes over, it's got someplace to soak into. If it was plastic, it would live on there and then would come off on other stuff. But if it's absorbent, it will actually absorb onto that page and it's done. You're not going to get it all over pages below or anything that touches it. That kind of thing. Okay. All right, so now we can choose, even though this is still a little bit wet, because I'm going to be doing sort of a dabbing type thing, I can decide if I want to use like, you know, leafy shapes or What are my choices? I've got sort of bizarre, branchy type shapes. I've got I guess you can't really see that. I need something dark. Dark, dark, dark. Find something black. How about the back of, yeah. Let's see now. Let's find something solid and colored. Aha. Well, all right. You can sort of see it against this, right? So we've got all of these different shapes, kind of like in this. Let's see. Or I could just do something like hearts. I don't want to do hearts necessarily. Oh, there we go. Ooh, wait a minute. Idea. Okay. Wait, here's an idea. Idea. Okay, idea. And wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, gold. Gold, yes. Gold. Okay, yes. Let's go. Gold. Let's see. Do I have a pouncing brush that would be made for something like this? No, I think I'm going to go ahead and do this. Let's go with not bright gold. Let's go with this colored gold. All right, let's add a little. I'll add a little water. And this may be inspired, guys. On the other hand, it may not. We shall see. Now, these are the watercolors that I made. All of these are, well, there's a lot of different kinds of watercolors in here. Some of these are Daniel Smith. Some of them are the metallic. These are the metallics that I made using my Pearl-Ex metallics. Okay. All right, so now, see if I can get the whole idea when you stencil is to use a somewhat dry. Well, let's go up here. Okay. Use a somewhat dry brush. And you don't have to do, whoops. Well, that didn't work. Okay. Never mind. Wait. If at first you fail, try again. See, now this is water, so it comes right off. All right, I don't think my paint was nearly thick enough. So let's try it one more time. Does anybody have anything to say? Or are you all just going to sit there and watch me make a fool of myself? All right, let's try this again up here. All right, so now I think you kind of have to hold your, in this particular case, you have to hold the stencil down and be a little more deliberate about it. So if I just do those, I don't like the color against each other. I need a different color. Okay. Eek, eek. Oh, Christine, what are you going to do? Are you really going to do that? Yes, I really am. I'm going to take it right off of there. But that's how you can. And so you can just take it right off there. And that's exactly what I did. So maybe that is not going to work. Maybe, though, oh, wait. Oh, shoot. I don't know where that box is right now. I was thinking of acrylic paint and orange or copper work. It would, but again, that was pretty much copper, I think, and it's just not the color I'm looking for. What I want is more of a more of a brown, and not a well. I guess I could. Well, let's see. All right, let's do this. We do not necessarily need a stencil. All right, you know what I mean? A stencil is nice, but it is not necessary. So this is brown and gold. So if we just go, and they don't have to be it is so hard to do anything like this randomly. Because eventually what happens is that you end up with little patterns. And that is not what you want. You want it to end up sort of randomly. Now, this isn't the end of, wait, what I'm going to do here Because remember, this is just we're just playing. I mean, really, we're just playing. We're just trying to, we're just seeing what's going to happen. I didn't come into this with a plan. Just like, I don't know how many of you go into your coloring projects with a plan. I don't. I usually just go in and say, ooh, I wonder what would happen if. And I mean, sometimes I have a plan, but for the most part, I don't. Okay. But let's see, we could also add a little bit. This is a black, only it's not really a black. This is much more of a charcoal gray. So we add a little bit of that in. Yeah, I don't hate that. Now, it wouldn't necessarily be all over the page, but see, now it makes these sort of little chirpy noises and or not chirpy noises, but they're like bird feet. They're like bird feet. The bristles on the brush break apart a little bit, and so it makes like little bird feet. So back to the brown. And all I'm doing here is just dabbing it, a little bit with the brush, just sort of, having fun with it. And so maybe you could even takes a little brown, grab some of that from, and I'm just sort of utilizing what's here, sort of grabbing a little, the last vestiges of this over here. I tell you, who I learn a lot from about just sort of abandoned play is watercolorists. And, because watercolor by its very nature is a loose medium. It is hard to learn. It is very disciplined, but it is so versatile, and there's so many different. There's different methods, different techniques, a whole lot of luck. To just a whole lot of magic of art happens in it. And I think that's what I appreciate the most about it. All right, so now we could also then now that we've got that, let's switch down to a smaller brush. This water is really dirty now. And go back to our gold. Right? And then we can add maybe little bits of gold in there. And those will, those will show up. They won't show up for the camera. I mean, they probably aren't going to show up for you guys. But I'll know they're there. Oops, there they are. I'll know they're there whenever I turn it over. And look at it. Once again, this just may have been the wrong gold to try and use. So, and then if you wanted to, you could add a little bit of red, as you're coming down. You can maybe switch out of the brown. Could take some of this red and throw it in there with the brown, right? Now I've got this smaller brush. So you mix that in, and it's going to create more of like an autumn brown for you. Whereas before you had a yellow brown, now you've got an autumn brown down here. And maybe these are falling leaves. And maybe that's all you need to do is just have a few of them falling like that. Let's see. Yeah, I think we want to maybe add a few more. Black. Don't like that. Okay. Just back to a little gold. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Okay. So you could do that. And then of course I could create, like, all right, so let's say that I kind of like the way that that's going so far. But I also want something to sort of hint down here that there's something down here on the ground that they would be going down to. So I could, let's see. Let's go ahead and wipe this away and wipe that away and toss that and sort of clean that a little bit. Actually, you know what? Let me get rid of that. Oh, look, swirly water with gold in it. That could mesmerize me for hours. Let me go dump this and get a clean one. Vicky. I love the fact that sink is just right there. Okay. And clean that. Then this is a kind of a racing green. And in order to turn that racing green, it's yellow ochre, is that right? Is that the one? Yes. Yes, that's the one that turns it sort of an olivey green. Yes. All right, and I'm just going to add a little tiny bit of the brighter green. So now it's a little bit of a leaf. Now it's more of a what I call a bush green, because that's what I'm going to use it for. I'm going to add some water. And then I'm going to make some bushes down here. I'm going to leave that harsh edge. I want that harsh edge. See, because they're going to go down here into the treetops. So it comes out of the sky and comes down to the treetops. Hi to anybody and everybody who's come in and that I have missed, because I have been just sort of, in the zone here. Please don't take it personally if I did not greet you. Hello, Kenny. Hello, Barb Singer. And the only ones that are talking, hi, Mona, Kathy. It's like, wow, it's all these people here, but nobody's talking. All right, then you can also just maybe grab just a little bit more of a different, just a half a brush full, and make it look like it's an entire forest. Maybe it's not just bushes. Maybe there's a whole forest down here. Okay. Or maybe it's just a bunch of bushes. And then, if you wanted to, because who knows, there could be that's not a good color. Oh, that's not a really good color either. No, that is a yuck color. We're calling that yuck. And sorry, yuck colors do not get to live here. We don't do yuck colors. Ugh. So that was a wrong guess. Hello, Jill. I've been doing an imitation, my dear, of you for the last several weeks, in that I literally I fall asleep sitting here. I'll be right in the middle of something, and I'm going to fall asleep. Well, thank you very much for being here, Debbie. And Debbie McElwee, welcome, welcome. This is her very first CL stream. That's so cool. See, I do pay attention a little bit. All right. This is more what I want. Let's go with the red. Then let's take some orange. Oh, that's a much better. That's not an icky shade. Not icky. Okay. Like that. Then we're just going to go with some tiny, teeny weeny little dots. So maybe these are flowering trees. Maybe these are bushes that have some sort of weird orangey looking berries on them. It could be all kinds of things. And we could go with a nice yellow, sort of dash it out there off the edge of that orange. Now, see, this is why you don't use a lighter color over a darker one, because it disappears. All right. Yeah, I'm not completely sold on that, by the way. See if I can blend some of that in. Don't worry. It'll either blend or it won't. But it could just be the magic of art that I've just messed it up. But not. We'll know when it dries. I think I just messed it up. It's okay. We'll find a way to save it. Maybe that could be a... Yeah. That'll give us room to decide on maybe something else to put down there. But at any rate, we've got a background for our little house here. Now we've got a little more idea, and we can add a few more falling leaves if we want. Even if it's a different color. And notice I'm just sort of, you know, this is, we're, you know, sort of ideating. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, grab maybe a little bit more of the, change down to the, you go back to the gold. Maybe add a little few more golds. There's a certain point where you should just leave well enough alone. I may have passed it, but okay, now I need a couple of more browns. Not many, just a couple. Just because it needs to have some continuity. All right, there we go. So that is where I'm going to go ahead and leave that particular background alone. I may yet add, this, which is a little more red. Let's add just a few of these up in here. The cat is sitting in the living room talking to something outside. I can hear her. She's talking through the open window to something out there. She's going, "Rah." Usually means there's either a rabbit, which is usually what's out there in the front yard. She sees the rabbits. Okay. All right. Now I'll leave it alone. Okay, so now that means that I can put away the pan set and go to the pencil set, which means that I don't need the water any longer. Okay. I don't know who that is, but if you're in my Etsy shop, thank you. That's what that was. That was my Etsy shop makes a special noise whenever people favorite one of my art pieces. So when it's then followed by the sale of, you know, a coloring book, yay! Okay. So now I'm going to put that away. Remind me to get that off my desk because the cat will drink it. Okay. So what do you think, guys? I mean, you could just, you don't, I guess what I want you to do is, you know, when you're doing a background or something like that, it doesn't have to be complex or, you know, or you don't have to sweat it. You can just play with it until, you know, you get something that you like or you can live with or whatever. And I mean, obviously, Inktense is probably not the right tool for a stencil. I think it would probably be much better with paint. But all right, now for this, I can see, then I can make my little house any colors that I want. So let's say that I want this to be, do I want a fully ripe acorn or do I want a, yeah, I think it's got to be fully ripe, doesn't it? Yeah, okay. Well, it can be any color I want. All right, it can be any color I want. So I'm going to go with the subtle brown. There's the chocolate. Chocolate. There's the willow. Give me the chocolate, please. Dark chocolate. Okay. And then I also want the greens. I don't know. All right, so I'm going to take my dark chocolate. I'm going to sort of use it up here in the shadows underneath the cap. And you know that I like to, actually let me zoom you all down. And then mess about with the focus. Oops. Move that over. Is that right? And turn off the auto white balance. Ooh. See? Yeah. See, I don't like looking dead. Don't want to look dead. It makes me want to look dead. Okay. Is that a little better? Sorry about that. Hopefully it is. Hope that's dark chocolate. I was going to say. Look like eggplant or something like that. All right. And so just adding in little bits where these little shadows are. Not a lot. All right, then I do want to, because you know that I absolutely love my honey mustards. No, not the red oxide, the baked earth. Absolutely the baked earth. I want the baked earth a little bit on the sides because to me, a acorn is a, I mean, obviously it's a seed, yes, but it's also like the fruit of the tree, so it's rich. And I like the baked earth color because to me it's a very rich brown. It's like terracotta, but it has an underlayment with something like mustard, which is a very gold color. It creates a very rich undertone. So if you use it like on with that chocolate brown, not a lot, just, just a little bit. Now, for those who've never seen me use the pencils of Inktense, don't worry, because these actually are water-soluble pencils. And so this is not going to be the finished product. This is not what this is actually going to look like. All right, so this is tan. I'm using the tan because I can't find the mustard. Although I know that the mustard is here somewhere. All we're doing is putting, this is a solid pigmented ink, and it is a little tiny bit, goes a mighty long way. And so that is why this is willow. So I'm just adding just a little bit of willow into that transition spot between the tan and the terracotta, or the baked earth. All right, and so go back to the tan here. Come up off that baked earth. Down a little bit. Doesn't have to be a lot. Just really letting the weight of the pencil determine how much pigment is going down on the page. I want to keep the lightness here in the center as much as I can. All right, going back to the baked earth a little bit, just down here in that chocolate area again, and then back to the willow just a little bit. And then just for sort of grins here, I've also got the settled brown, which is a slightly different brown. But browns are, I'm going over the terracotta, or the baked earth, with this saddle brown, because it is a little bit more brown. Now, I don't really want this to fade out of the background, or, fade into the background. So you can get a little bit more aggressive down here with it, I think. I shouldn't probably, till I know for sure. Oh, wow. Sorry, this is illusion. This pencil tray over here, I have another pencil tray sitting over here. It was sitting on top of those brushes, and it looked like it was rolling toward me, and that's because it was. It was rolling on the brushes. I'm like, there's a ghost in my pencils. All right, and then one last little bit. I'm going to see if I cannot find that mustard. Is that the mustard? Hey, that is the mustard. The mustard is my sort of go-to gold color. I am really fond of the ochres. I'm gonna okay. So let's see how I did. This is always the moment of truth. Water brush. Right, water brush. Yep. Okay. Just making sure. All right. We will work from this side. I'm using the high-tech toilet paper roll today. I would try and use paper towel, but it's gone the same way as toilet paper in the store. Hopefully. Just, you're working your way slowly across. You're more just tapping the color down. In this particular case, because it's a small area, just basically letting the little tiny bit of water come off the end of your pencil or your water brush. Do you need to do this fairly quickly? Stop talking for a second. There we go. Just so that it doesn't develop those really harsh edges. But hang on a second. I'm going to mute you for just a second. Okay. Just wanted to get through the ugly sound. Anybody who's ever had a really bad cough knows about the ugly sound, right? The one where people go, ooh. Okay. So all of that. Now, of course, this is just the first coat. Okay. You can always go back and color correct it. All right. Now, there'll be lots of stuff that I can do to this to make this stand out more. So, exactly, Risa. Exactly. It's like, oh, thank you, Jill. Yeah, I love the Grappitins too, Barb. Okay. Hi, Crystal. Nice to see you. And hello, Nanimo. Hang on. Oh, yeah. Okay, so like I say, that's just the first one. Now you can, then I could decide that I wanted it to have our little house. Let's do something colorful. Let's go with blue. So let's say that we want our little house to have lagoon blue shutters. Just tiny strokes. Not coloring it all in, just little tiny strokes. And just leaving it blank toward the center. And I just picked a random blue. Oops. Trying to keep my hand out of the way. So hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. Now, if you don't have Inktense, but you do have watercolor pencils, this is exactly the same process. The only difference is that you would take into account the fact that your watercolor pencils can be moved, whereas once Inktense is dry, it can't be moved. So you can't lift it off again or fade it out or do anything like that. It's really versatile to work with. And once it's dry, you can go over it with different colors and actually change the color. Which you cannot really do with watercolors. Okay. So this is, you know, I didn't want a subtle bright look. I wanted a, like maybe an older, more faded look on my, and if you wanted yours purple, there's no rules. You could make your whole, you could do a night background with sparkling. Ooh, that'd be pretty, wouldn't it? A deep purple or blue, you know, indigo blue background with metallic sparkles all over it. The you know, instead of the leaves like I did, the autumn leaves, you could use silver and gold and maybe a fuchsia pink. That would be wonderful. So there's just you know, a gajillion things that you could do with every picture. The only limits are the ones we place on ourselves. And the only scary thing about this book is that it's so cute. Otherwise, it's just ink and paper and hours of playtime. And just like when you were a kid, some of your work is going to be great. Some of it may only be mediocre, but it's all going to be yours. And every single page will tell a story. Okay, so I need to, like this should be some mustard. I need to be a little, oops, sorry. You don't mind if I smack you guys, do you? Smack, smack, smack. Sorry, now I've got these pencils under the camera. It's hard. Oh, yes, that is me wheezing. Hey, just adding that little bit of I didn't get this one dark enough. That's okay. We'll pretend like there's yellow glass in there. Like there's yellow glass in that window. And that's why maybe the glass is reflecting the sun, and that's why that part is lighter. Or I could just fix it. One of the two. Okay, are there any questions? Is everybody having a good time? I cannot believe that I have no idea what I'm trying to say. Hello. All right, so that's not what I want. This is what I want. I want the chocolate brown. Thank you. Those are shadows, Christine. So those are inside little curves. Okay. And then, let's see. That's the subtle brown. I want the willow brown. Willow. There we go. That'll do. Just go there. So where was I? I was at Mrs. Coffee's a couple of nights ago. I was at Sammy's, but that was I want to say it was last week. I watched something back. I don't remember what it was, but I've been somewhat glued to PBS, and I have to say that I did watch every single news conference that actually was the electors, the election officials. I didn't watch any. I didn't watch it, as part of the news. I actually watched the live conferences. Because that way I didn't have to have anybody explain to me what happened, because I was right there listening. And I got to say, guys, it really is fabulous how safe and secure the election system in the United States is. It's ridiculously secure. So. All right. And it felt good to know that. I got to say, it felt really good to know that. All right, so now I need to, I don't know what, I guess yellow, maybe. I guess I could make them yellow. Trying to think of what color the interiors of the, but let's just, as long as we're here, let's do the, this is a it doesn't have to be realistic, Christy. You can make it any color you want. But I think I'm going to make it green anyway. Even though by this time of year, it would technically be brown. I'm going to make it green. All right, is the iron green the blue green? I have to consulting swatch book. I'm trying to remember if I am going to be using the Ionian green or the iron green. I'm going to be using the Ionian green. All right, so Ionia. No, I own you. Sorry, I digress. Let's see, apple, no. Fern, yes. Fern is good. All right, so this is the Ionian green. And I am using it just in the very, very darkest little recesses of these guys. How many coats will I use? Usually 2. I usually will go through and and do the initial one, and then I'll go through and do whatever little corrections need to be done. So I'm just, I mean, this is once again, it's a very, and I actually am exerting a fair amount of pressure. These are small spaces. I could get lost in the minutia, but instead, excuse me. Every time I think I just want to, give up and move on to the next, I have to stop myself. Say, wait, you've got to continue on here. Finish these little ones. Cannot tell you the last time I actually finished a picture. During or after a stream. And I used to finish them all. But I think it's the difference between coloring for demo purposes and coloring for, for actual hobby reasons. And, okay, Jill, time to say goodbye and have yes, you too. I know that everything is, Oh, yeah. Thank you, Daryl Lynn, for saying that. Have a happy Thanksgiving, Jill. Yeah, 40 Fan Favorites is the sampler of my 8 books. And so that is my first 8 books. And so that's a really good one to start with. I always recommend either that or start with the first one, which is Flowers and Dreams, which Sue named for me, my friend Sue. All right, now this is the lighter. This is a fern green. And so I'm just throwing in a little bit of that right on top of that Ionian green, not bringing it all the way down, but most of the way. Excuse me. I am going to be so glad when this cough lets up. It is worse this year than it's ever been. But then I'm not surprised because I'm not usually under, this much tension. So, all right, now I'm also going to pull not the apple green, but the spring green. No, it is the apple green, sorry. I want to be able to guarantee that that yellow, or the yellow green. And this, I'm just going around these edges. Now, there is no, we've all talked about this before, right? There is no right way or wrong way to color. You can look at the way that I color or, and the techniques that I use, and maybe they're not for you. Maybe, but you like them and you will incorporate, bits and pieces of them into your own coloring. And that is fine by me. There's no right way, no wrong way. And the thing you've got to always remember, do not compare yourself to other colorists. Other colorists color how they color. You color how you color. And if you want to color like them, then study their technique and, practice, and you can. But I always think it's much more fun to develop your own, your own method, your own look. It's that signature, like one of the signature things in my coloring is always that I use I call it the printer palette. It's always going to be the magentas, the cayennes, and the yellows. So are almost always going to appear somewhere. I'm making a conscious choice not to use them in this particular one. But otherwise, everything would be marine blue, Fiesta green, and some sort of a harvest, or not a harvest gold, but a like a mustard gold, or yellow. All right, so let's see how we did. I'm gonna brush around quite a bit because I want to retain the darks, but I don't want them to dominate. And I do think that they might get lost. I think that the Ionian and the Fern are it's almost too good of a blend. They become indistinct from each other. Therefore, there's no shadow effect. It's just a straight gradient effect. And that's wonderful, except sometimes what you want is the darker shadow. So I'll probably end up these areas under here, the under the in between the little plates of this top lid. I'll probably end up going back in with something like a gray or a charcoal gray to recapture those shadows because they're blending out into the fern green. Sorry, I am actually in the zone here. The zone is a good place to be. I haven't been here for a while. Just skating the tip of the brush across each of these little areas, just allowing the Inktense to moisturize without, soaking up so much water. Trying not to ship the pigment amount around, but so far not having much success. That Ionian just isn't dark enough. It needed to be darker. And yet it's the darkest green in the box. So you end up having to go back and using black or charcoal gray or Chinese ink or Inktense doesn't really have a sepia color, but yeah, see, it just blends out. It's just too perfect. Into that burn green. It's just too perfect of a blend. I'm losing that dark edge. As Dee Dee would say, I'm losing the contrast. And it's all about, depth is all about contrast. Contrasting your lights and your darks. Actually, we've made pretty good progress on this, haven't we? I might have to finish this one, guys. On the other hand, I don't think there's been a Maria Trolle that I've done that I haven't finished. And one of these days, I am going to get back to coloring my own work. Hopefully when I draw some new things. But for right now, thanks to the generosity of you guys, I have more than plenty of things to color and more than plenty of supplies to color them with. So you can count on the idea that I will keep coming back. Now, for those of you who, I mean, obviously, we don't know what is going on with Thanksgiving, well, I mean, we don't know. You all know what's going on in your own lives. I will be here for Thanksgiving at home, but I do a live Christmas Day stream for those people in the world who do not have someplace to be on Christmas Day. I do suspect that it will be once again. It's almost always very well attended, and I am going to be doing it one more time, of course, because I mean, basically, this is where I'm going to be, and hopefully. I don't. Oh, sorry. I don't know how many of us are going to be able to get to be anywhere else, short of living in, certain parts of Australia and all of that, where they've managed to get a real handle on this thing. Anyway, my long way of saying I'm going to be here Christmas Day. For my friends here in the United States, why depth is about contrast. Okay. Well, actually, Daryl Lynn, if you look at anything, and I do mean pretty much anything that has any kind of depth to it, and when I say depth, I mean using visual color to make something two-dimensional appear to be three-dimensional. And that's what I mean by depth. So you're attempting to make something look round with shading. And in order to set something really firmly against something else, you want one of them to be light and one of them to be dark. And that way it's going to appear like there's layers. And how deep the layer is has to do with how dark the contrast is, or how different how dark compared to light. So yeah. So that's why depth is all about contrast. Hopefully that made sense. somewhere along the line there, I lost myself. So I imagine it might, I might have lost you guys too. No laughing, Christine. You're not laughing. Oh, that would be terrible if I couldn't laugh again because I coughed every time I laughed. Oh, that would make life not worth living. Anyway. All right. So hopefully, though, like the contrast, making the edge of this darker than the edge of that so that it appears to be three-dimensional. This is not yet dark enough. It will be by the time we're done. It'll be much, much darker, and it will then appear to be a round, a round acorn with the next layer. So, Black Friday. Black Friday's after the holiday. You haven't seen Black Friday yet. Nanimo. Black Friday is next Friday. Oh, they give a preview for Prime members. Oh, that I didn't know. Okay. Yeah, I don't have Prime, so I didn't know that. Okay. Bummer. The polys. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you all for coming today and joining me, spending a little time with me here on Sunday. I do hope that you have gotten a takeaway from today. In the meantime, until we meet again, color something pretty. Bye, everybody.